My takeaway is that the most powerful man in the world met Donald Trump, and the two of them sat down together and almost inexplicably went through the list of things that Putin said he wants and agreed to all of them pretty much, and went through the list of things that President Trump has said that he wants, and again, inexplicably said no to pretty much all of them. If you recall, there was this whole thing about serious consequences, 50 days, 5 days, secondary tariffs, sanctions, and so on. I mean, duck egg. So yeah, it didn't happen. So my take on this is that Putin ran that visit, Putin ran that show.
How do you think it might go from here? It seemed to have a pretty constructive meeting yesterday with the European leaders, many of them, including Mr. Zelenskiy. How do you think this is going to play out in the days coming forward?
Well, President Zelenskiy, I mean, is the bravest man in the world, so he always does the best that he can. He has a very difficult position. It's the case that Ukraine is suffering. The Russians have mobilized such that they can slowly win a war of attrition. I got in a bit of hot water on your show last time because I said that Putin was slowly losing. What I should have said is Putin could slowly lose if we give the Ukrainians the kit and the weapons, which we're not. So hopefully the Europeans and Zelensky are able to get into some sort of peace deal so that the war ends, which is a noble end, but one that allows at least what's left of Ukraine to survive. And I think Putin has long-term aspirations for the rest of it.
Do you think we'll get to that next step of Russia and Ukraine sitting down for talks, and then after that, a trilateral?
We might, but so much of this is theater, right? I mean,
Sure.
with the president, with Zelensky, the way they treated him in the Oval Office last time, there's always this tail risk. Well, not even a tail risk. There's also, a probability that this is going to go south for Zelensky. And really, what is Putin's worth? What is Putin's word worth anyway? Right. So even if there is this trilateral meeting and Putin says, yeah, I agree to X, Y, Z, I mean, we've seen in the last 5 or 6 years that he's willing to break any agreement anyway. So I think the essence of this needs to be that the Ukrainians do not agree to anything that means that they cannot either stay mobilized or remobilize if Russia starts the war again.
How concerned do you think those European allies were that came to Washington yesterday, and the other Europeans? How concerned are they about Russia's greater aspirations years down the road here? Because you could argue right now is when they need to draw a line in the sand, a big line.
Okay, so as an Englishman on your show, I'm going to say something strange. World peace now rests on whether or not Germany rearms, which is not something I thought I'd hear myself say.
Right.
If the Germans don't get their act together and create a Bundeswehr that can really fight and defeat the Russians in the field such that it is a deterrent, the Russians will keep coming. And that is not just an assessment of Putin, that is an assessment of Russian history. And if we really want to be analytical about it, we should understand that the Russians have had a history in which, as far as they're concerned, they are perpetually invaded by the Europeans. It's not just the Germans. There were Romanians, Italians, and so on. And they had that war with the Finns and so on. So I think we can expect a long-term Russian posture which is aggressive. I think the European leaders understand this, and now they just need to rearm very quickly.
My head is spinning on this. In the last minute we have left here, the security plan that they were talking about. I mean, what do you think? What's the overall kind of look for that? I mean, not what does it include, because we really don't know the specifics on it, but what's the overall goal of it?
For whom? You see, like,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah, true.
Okay, so let's just go quickly through the three leaders. The goal for Putin is to basically retool. If he agrees to a pause, it won't be an end to the war. He wants to retool, try again later, because the initial invasion failed. The goal for Zelensky, of course, is to keep sovereignty, to keep his country as intact and as powerful as possible. I think the goal for the Europeans is to support Ukraine. And the goal for President Donald Trump appears to be twofold. One, do whatever Vladimir Putin tells him to do. And number two, somehow, some way get a Nobel Peace Prize. So I'm that cynical about it, I'm afraid.
Right.